What's good, everybody? Bisi here. You're listening or watching the Legit podcast. And guess what? This is the first day we're having our legit snack, and we're taking a quote today. So, a couple of months ago, I was thinking that, look, I've been doing this podcast for a while, for 2 years actually. And I started on audio, and then we got quarantined, and y'all are like, we want to see, the expressions of the guests and myself and everything. And so we did YouTube, right? And we also did a 30-day challenge. And while all that was good and fun, I'm like, okay, God, like, I need to grow. I need to grow with this podcast. I need something, we've been doing this for a while. I need to grow. And so how do I grow? And at a point, I was getting really discouraged. Because life happened, and life happens sometimes. So I'm like, well, that's not a priority right now. I need to focus on all these other stuff. And so I think I was doing some research, and I came across this quote: "The only impossible journey is the one that never begins." Now, I feel like there's two parts to this quote. The first one is the fact that if you don't start something, it's already impossible for it to be accomplished or to grow or to come into fruition, right? And then the second part is the fact that if you have started something, it means that impossibility part is right out the window. And that's how I thought about it. When I saw that quote, I was like, oh my goodness, okay. So I already have something going on with this podcast. That means we can just, eliminate the impossible part of it, right? Because I already have something going. And so what do I do from here? So the end of that quote also says it's a journey. So realizing that this is a journey that I'm on, right? I started from somewhere and I'm going on a journey, and I have a bunch of you who are going on that journey with me, and I appreciate you all. And it's just so encouraging, right? When I get little messages that Bisi, when is the next podcast coming out? What are you doing about it? And I really, really appreciate it. And so I realized that it's a journey, and I also realized that this podcast grows as far as I grow, right? As long as I'm stagnant, this is going to be stagnant. And I realized that, we spoke about being our legit self and always really reaching for the highest version of ourselves, and that requires growth. See, I realized that God, we hear this thing all the time, that God meets us right where we are, but really what happens is God meets us where we are to take us to where He is. And so most of the times, right, sometimes something happens, and this is God, right? Something happens and we're dancing in the rain, and it's a breeze, and He's just swept us all off our feet, and things just happen, just fit, just perfect. And I can attest to that, right? And then He's like, okay, great. Now let's go. I need you to do some work. And so whatever it is hard work. It is work that you have to put in. There's two challenges to beginning something. There's beginning it, actually starting it, and there's sustaining it. Right? Because a lot of the times you realize that we start something and, it gets to a point where it gets challenging and we just fall off, or we just stop, or we just quit. And that's not what we want to do. We want to grow through it no matter what. And that's why I just want to submit to your consideration that if there's anything that you have ever thought about starting, if it is getting right with your body, getting right with the food that you eat, getting right, starting a business, whatever it is, being intentional about your relationships, being, getting intentional about your relationship with God, it starts now, because it's impossible if you don't start it. There's never, tomorrow is not promised. Right? Tomorrow is not promised. And so I think it's very important that whatever it is, realizing that it's only impossible if we do not start it. Now, that's the first part. Secondly, there may be some of you who are also in between something and it's gotten really challenging. You're literally on an uphill climb and it's got hard. Life has happened and this is not a priority, but really you're supposed to take that with you, right? And so I asked myself, how do I juggle everything that I'm doing with the podcast, with the Legit podcast? And something dropped in my spirit. Exactly what I'm doing now is to take you guys along the journey. And so just have this legit snack where I'm taking you along the journey with me, that this is happening, but I'm able to share how I'm growing in this. And so I had a lot of things I was juggling: work, school, a side business I was doing. And I'm like, look, this podcast has been a one-man show. I've been doing this all by myself, the editing. First, I just click a button and that was it, right? But now, I have to edit, I have to put out, I have to market, I have to do thumbnails on YouTube, because now there's video and everything. It's just a lot. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? And so I decided to build a team. And when I even think about building, that's exactly what it is. It's brick by brick, right? We're growing little by little. And so that is the snack I wanted to bring you guys today. The only impossible journey is the one that never begins. Now, I got encouraged by the fact that, I had already started something. And so that impossibility part is out the window. And now I just have to grow brick by brick. Nobody ever goes from 0 to 100 in a day, right? And so I just wanted to encourage you guys with that. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I'll catch you all on the next one.